Yo, what's up, fools? It's Mirage here with another Mental Health Monday. I know that we kind of dropped these off last year, but we're gonna be more consistent this year, and I'm gonna bring out more Mental Health Mondays in long form via YouTube, so you'll be able to see the whole episode on YouTube, and then I will clip up different clips that I think are just more, just stand out a little more. So that being said. This month we will be talking about self-love in, in sort of the essence of Valentine's Day. Um, Now self-love is something that folks like kind of like dip their toes in. But self-love is ultimately the most important love that you can have, right? And why I say that is because different people can like you for different reasons, right? Most of the time, people are mad at you because you did something that they didn't like, right? Sometimes people are super happy with you because you did something that they did like, right? And it comes with its conditions, of course. Sometimes self love can, but I think self love is why I say it's the ultimate love that you can give yourself is because if you don't love yourself, it's going to be a really, really, really tricky world to navigate, right? Like, I think sometimes we have to go deep into like our decisions and be like, why do I do that? Like, but once you start implementing this idea of self love into your life, you start making better decisions because you're doing what's best for you as if you're doing it for a friend, right? You're seeing yourself as a friend. You're having conversations with yourself as a friend, as a support system first, which is great, especially when you're in like a creative space. If you're making music, I know a lot of musicians can probably agree with me, but it's lonely most of the time when you're creating and you're trying to be you kind of have to be your biggest cheerleader to do the things that you deep down don't really want to do, but you have to do. You have to hype yourself up too because when you're releasing music, especially in today's world, it's so saturated that folks are sometimes overseen, overlooked. But if you push yourself to do things that you need to do, and it comes from a deep core from within inside, it becomes much easier to navigate, right? I'm not going to say it's going to be the easiest task to do, but I'm saying it just gets easier to do, right? A lot of people look for others' validation. And sometimes, granted, we're all humans, we all do that. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't look for validation in what I do as an artist. Like that's part of why I kind of put it out, right? So that it could be exposed to the world. If not, I would have just kept all this music to myself. But when you start looking for validation in others, then you start sort of doing things for other people. You don't do things because you want to do them. You're over here trying to mimic different archetypes of people because you want to fit in, and that makes sense, right? Like it's a human it's human nature to want to be amongst other people. You don't want to be, you know, uh the black sheep of any group. You kind of want to be accepted into a certain group of people. That's the reason why there's like Facebook pages with different groups. This is why people kick it with the hell of people. But, sometimes you avoid your own problems because you're out here trying to fit into different things. Like, yeah, it just becomes this cyclical thing. But if you deep down inside love yourself and you're able to do things for yourself and you're able to exude that, it just makes it makes you more attractive, not in the sense of like, ooh, I like that person because they look a certain type of way. It's more so your energy is kind of, it's kind of like a magnet, and you start to surround yourself with people who are like minded, um, people who appreciate the things that you appreciate, but you also build yourself up to be able to also have differences and be able to voice those differences at the end of the day. And it's cool. Like, you get to be your own person. I think ultimately, like, self-love teaches you that you love the person that you are, and that leads to you doing more creative things, doing things that you actually want to do. So many people out here are miserable. You know, I, me too. Like, I'm part of that group. You when it comes to my 9 to 5, but a lot of people out here are miserable, right? Faking the funk, faking that they're okay and all this and that, and seek other ways to cope with that, whether it be drugs, alcohol, sex, food, like XYZ, right? You start to try to fill these voids, but when you truly, truly, truly love yourself, bro, there's nothing that can really stop you, and it becomes this infectious thing, and people get pissed. People get pissed, and then you start to learn how to protect your energy too, because not everyone is out here to really help you out like that, right? There are certain folks. I'm not gonna say that you shouldn't trust certain folks. I think we're humans, right? We're meant to be in groups of people and help each other out. Not one person has ever become successful by doing things strictly on their own, right? You could do XYZ, but at a certain point, you start bringing in people, and you have to trust those people. But if you have that self love, you can easily, get through things when people who are being mean, it's just all these things that people try to project onto you. But when you love yourself, all those things that people think of you kind of like just slides off. It's like that dirt off your shoulders. It's like it's nothing. Like, you can go ahead and do and create and move in ways that make people jealous, unfortunately. But you know, all these things just sort of gear you up, and there's so many ways that you can do self-love, right? Like, self-love is getting rest. Self-love is eating properly. Self-love is exercising. Self-love is doing the things that you want to do that benefit you, right? In the long run. Some folks, like to run at the beach, and that's their form of self-love onto themselves. So once you start doing things for yourself because you want to do them, you have the most fun ever. And it's like undescribable. You can't even break it down. But certain folks don't find that till they're older. And the older you get, the more bitter you sometimes get. And it sometimes it almost feels like, from the outside looking in, that it's just too late. Like, this person's now stuck in their ways. This person's unhappy. They're going to continue to be unhappy. But to be honest, this life is too short to be unhappy all the damn time. Right? So, man, just love yourself. Do the things that you want to do, because this life is way, way, way too short. And yeah, I don't have much on this topic because I kind of went in on a rant. But yeah, just love yourself. It's the easiest thing to do and the hardest thing to do. So just love yourself. Peace.